Alright, and we're live. Okay. Follow my social media. Not that a lot of people do at this point. You know that I said that I was going to do diamond painting this week. Diamond painting is still new to me. I've still never tried it. I have it. I got a little bookmark and I got a full-size painting. I ordered the bookmark after the painting because I realized the painting might be too much for me to start with. And I'm still feeling a little too anxious to do that. And today my energy is just low. I'm just so tired. Sorry, I jinxed myself. Oh, and it didn't finish. I hate that. Sorry, I say that a lot. I'm gonna work on stopping with the ums. Where was I? I've already forgotten. Right, anyway, decided it'd be better for my mental health if I don't push myself to do that. I thought briefly about doing acrylic painting instead because I found this beautiful painting on Amazon that I really love. And it's the only one of its kind. I mean, they have multiple copies, but still, but it's like $60, which is way out of budget. And I thought maybe I'll just recreate it, but it's a painting of like it's Oh Jerusalem, but like with like blue overlay. Like usually it's all yellow and dusty, and this one is blue, and I like the yellow a lot better, or the blue a lot better. But I don't know if I could paint that myself. I don't have a lot of experience painting people. I don't have a lot of experience acrylic painting in general. And I thought about painting something else, and I realized I just don't feel like cleaning up and doing everything right now. By the time that I got everything situated and got it so that I could do this, film this at my desk like I usually do, I would just be worn out and stressed, and I'm trying to get better at taking care of myself, so that's not what I want to do today. So, today we're going to do coloring. And coloring is, I wasn't able to color for several months because it just made me more anxious and depressed. It was awful. And now I can, and now I'm really enjoying it again. But you really have to pay attention to the mediums that you're using and the coloring page. That's for me, that's what I found. So these are the coloring books I'll be using today. There's this one. I just finished one of these pages last night. The cover looks way too bold and just, like, not me, but I really love some of these pictures. So that's what I did last night. And then I have another one, which, really anyone can use, but it says it's inspirational coloring for mom. You don't have to be a mom to do this, obviously. A lot of them are just scriptures, and they work for anyone, not just moms. Like, it's like you're the apple of God's eye. My grace is sufficient for you. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. Yeah. And yeah, so we will be doing this with markers and crayons and gel pens and colored pencils. I should find those real quick. Just so I can talk about, this really isn't a super unique, I guess it's kind of unique the way that I'm doing it, but it's not about the coloring. I'm not trying to be unique or be special, just so you guys know. This is just trying to normalize depression and show the thought processes and self-awareness. That's what we're doing here. And this might seem kind of silly, but that's what it is. And I'm still in my pajamas, if you can't tell. I'll be right back. I'm just walking around the couch here, because... No, wait, no. Right here. I think this is where my color pencils are. Yep, okay. Found them. Okay. Yeah. And hopefully by the time I do my next video... Oh, hello, I have a viewer. Hopefully by the time I have the next viewer, or the next episode, we'll have curtains right here. We have a ladder and stuff over here right now set up so we can do this. Okay, and I am going to start with crayons, actually, just because I feel like it. And I'm going to start with the mom coloring book. It's not really for moms, it's for anyone. I've started doing this one with markers. We'll get back to that when I feel like doing the markers. which will be soon-ish, obviously. These pictures are all tiny, like so. Like this is like ideal for gel pens. I feel like, not maybe markers. I will talk more about that just because the way that each one draws, for me, has a huge impact on like how much I enjoy it on my mental health. And so being aware of the medium and what the medium, the kind of effect it has on you, is part of it. Did I say, I said crayons, right? Yeah. So I do this one, Your Cherish, has a bird. So yeah, I'll just start drawing and talk as we go. And I put links to all the products I'm using down below. In case you don't have any, I am an Amazon affiliate, is that what they're calling it? And so I do make money off qualifying purchases. There's just something so satisfying about a new box of crayons. Like, we have crayons. I have a toddler. We have like 100 crayons at least. But, I just really want new crayons. I wanted an excuse for new crayons. And, yeah, colors are also part of it, I feel like. I try to pick color, like, I just go with what I feel. Like, the colors that you feel will make you happy. That may sound, I don't know, that sounds kind of silly. Maybe that's like obvious to some people, maybe not. Probably not, honestly. I always think people are, in general, are more self-aware than it turns out they really are, just generally speaking. But I pick colors that, you know, just go with how I'm already feeling. When I'm tired and a little depressed and I don't particularly want to leave that, I'm just comfortable with the depression mood that I'm in right now. So I don't want to do anything about it. Don't want it to get worse. Don't really care if it gets better right now. So we're, yeah, going with that. Just comfortable with the way it is. See, crayons are, I'm a little torn about whether I like it, because with crayons you can go lighter or darker, and that changes the color, or the shade. But when you want like a really, you know, I don't know, I really love when you do a lot of pressure and it's just really thick and shiny and opaque, but at the same time, like, that hurts, you know, like that just, it hurts to keep doing it like that. And as far as the coloring page, like I picked one that is big enough because I get a little bit messy with crayons. When I don't really always care about staying in the lines. I don't always try super hard when I'm depressed. I just don't feel like it. And so I'm not holding myself to that. It's not a standard I want to stick to right now. And you have to be okay with whatever you feel like doing if you want to find peace and be content with coloring when you're depressed. Like if you'd normally stay perfectly within the lines and you don't feel like it, you have to be willing to forgive yourself for not doing that. Because if doing it is going to stress you out more and make it not relaxing for you, then what's the point? So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. Because really with depression, that's a huge thing in general. You just have to let go of the standards that you once held yourself to. And like for me, it's not always easy. I'm more of a perfectionist when I'm depressed than when I'm not. Which I've read that OCD and depression can bring on symptoms of OCD, like hand in hand. And I can totally see that with me. It's not only the perfectionism, but also I get germophobic, legit phobia when I'm depressed. I'm more OCD about it in a way than phobia. Of course, I heard it is an OCD thing, not necessarily phobia. And it's not with everything either. It's more just with food and dishes. Those are really the only things that bother me about it. It's just been kind of a conflict in my life, actually. Hey, Ashley. Figured it'd be you. I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Right. Does not always have to be good end product. And something to keep in mind is that It's not like you're gonna show everyone. Like a lot of, part of what I'm trying to do here is normalize depression, but you don't always have to worry about what other people are seeing, and that's part of the thing with depression is that you're worried that other people are gonna see you and think differently of you and judge you. But not everything that you're doing is going to be seen by other people, and that's okay and that's good, and you can keep to yourself and do the things that make you happy and not worry about it. And crayons are honestly kind of stressing me out. This is as much as I've got so far. I'm not a fan of the texture of crayons unless I'm putting a lot of pressure on them. I mean, sometimes I'm okay. Sometimes it's just a mood, honestly. You have to be in the right mood for whatever medium you're using. And I'm not in the mood for crayons, although I do really love this color and the way that this looks so far. I'm just not in the mood. So, I'm going to move on from crayons. I think that's about all I have to talk to with crayons. There are cool things you can do with crayons, but again, this isn't so much a how to draw, like how to use these mediums, as in it's more just how to use them when you're depressed. So, this is the picture I've been working on with my markers. And I just got these markers. It's been so long since I've colored with markers. So I have been going through and using each one, just coloring each button like the same 2 colors, and then putting that marker down. So the table in front of my laptop here is just covered in the markers that I've already used. And I'm gonna run out of markers before I run out of buttons, but we'll see. And these are just felt tip markers again. The link is in the comments. And markers I'm also a little bit torn on. I think markers are awesome and they're fun and all. But right now, lately, I have not been in the right mood. Like they go so smoothly, and these ones, I guess part of it is, if you color the same area twice, then it's darker and it's more obvious, so the shading is not uniform. And that's one of the things that's bothering me right now. Again, this is also like a mood. It really is just moods for me. And you might find that it's the same for you. I don't always not enjoy drawing with markers. This has been painful for me trying to get this done. I'm so committed to finishing it. A lot of the times it gets to the point where I start a coloring page and it is just stressing me out, making me more anxious, so I have to stop and I put it away and I never finish it. Or I come back like years later and then I finish it. And that's okay. That is perfectly okay to do, guys. You might feel like you're like failing yourself for not even being able to or to not even be able to finish a coloring picture, and you're not failing anyone. If you're actually stopping because of the way that you feel, because it's not good for the way you feel, then that is fantastic. You are doing such a good thing for yourself. And the idea here is to relax. If it's not relaxing for you, if you're like coloring to be paid or whatever, that's something else. Ashley, I know you do commissions. Like if you actually have to hold yourself to this for somebody else because you made a promise, then that's one thing. But if you're doing this to relax, then do it to relax, and don't let other feelings get in your way. And I used to be such a stickler about this too, like with the markers. I used to be so good at staying in the lines, and right now I don't care enough to do that. And so it looks kind of messy, but once it's far away, it doesn't quite look like that anymore. So there's that. And honestly, usually I like to pick a color theme. Just pick 3 or 4 colors and start there, and then add more later. And I did not do that here. So it's just kind of chaos. And on one hand, I like how colorful it is. Like, it's realistic for an assortment of buttons, I feel like. It's a button box, and it's got all kinds of colors in it. It even has some buttons look just like these. Oh, that's awesome, Ashley. That's a good point. That if you have something, I'll just read her comment for those who are watching this after the fact. That's right now I'm like the live video is lagging a bit behind again, so I'm seeing this a little late. But what she said is, and that's something that has helped me to get through it and enjoy the process. The fact that I have to finish it pushes me to do better and to care about it instead of just doing it for fun. That's a good point. And I found that with school too. Like I'm a nerd. I've always really loved school, and I have not. I was worried when I started school this last semester back in April that it would be too much for me, that I would be too depressed and I wouldn't care about finishing it, or doing good, getting good grades, or really learning. But it turns out that I actually did. I really enjoyed it, and it was really good for my mental health. And that this also depends on the phase of your depression, because I know for me there have been phases of depression where this definitely wouldn't be the case, and it would be too much. And Ashley, you might have seen that with your art that you're paid to do too. That there are times where you can't even care enough to do it. Maybe I hope not. I mean, I just know that for me with depression, sometimes it's worse and sometimes it's better, and sometimes it's not definitively worse or better. It just, in some ways it's worse and some it's better. And it just really depends on what you're capable of. And you have to be aware of what you're capable of being pushed towards. And it can help to be committed for other reasons, for the sake of other people, can really help. It can make you feel like you're doing something that, there's all sorts of reasons behind it, really. That other people are relying on you, depending on you, that you're doing something for somebody, like it's service, or that you're bringing in money, so you have to do good quality to bring in the money. Really, like, you just gotta be aware. Or it's good to be aware. You don't always have to. It's not always relevant. But I don't know. I found that I actually really love taking introspective looks at depression, because I feel like helps. It helps you learn wisdom, and wisdom is just awesome. Honestly, I love wisdom. It makes life easier, and it makes life really cool to be able to connect things and see the reasons behind things. And Ashley says that's how my depression is too. It can be really hard to do anything some days, but other days it's a lot better. Yeah, the the last couple of days I wondered if I was going to get around to doing this YouTube thing at all. My depression's just been bad in a way. I was doing so good with doing live streams on Facebook every day to do the mental health check-in and stuff. And then there was that thing last Sunday, and I haven't done anything. And yeah, so I think I'm done with markers now. I didn't make a lot of progress. I did like 3 new colors, and it's messy, and I don't know. I don't know what it is about markers. Another thing for me is that when I'm coloring, I can't make myself slow down. I know that can, like, going slow and being careful is helpful for a lot of people, pretty sure. But for me, I can't. I'm in a rush. I'm always in a rush, even when I'm depressed. Like, they always ask you in those depression questionnaires, have you been moving noticeably slow? And I've only had that happen, like, where I noticed that I was moving and talking slower, like, twice, and each were only for a few minutes. Because my depression just hops all over the place, and I'm always in a rush. Even when I'm depressed, I'm in a rush to make things happen as soon as possible so that I can make progress and move forward. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, even when I'm feeling suicidal, that's the case. Like, that's part of what, like, when I'm suicidal, I lash out a lot more, and I try to, I either tell people flat out, or I, like, strongly hint at it, which my husband still manages to miss the hints sometimes, because I just want progress to be made. Either it's going to happen or it's not, and my feelings aren't moving any faster, so I want to see if other people will move faster to see if they'll cut me out sooner. Like, that's just how I am. So I can't slow down when I'm coloring either. And I think that's part of why I like gel pens. I'm not sure if I'm going to like colored pencils much better either. I'm going to move in on now to the Fearless one. This is seriously my favorite coloring book. It has a lot of black, which is not normal for me. And there are a lot of these. These are the kind of patterns that stress me out. Usually. Like, there's just so much going on. Like, this one's better. I like when there's not as much. I think part of it is that if you have like lots of stripes and stuff, I try to make them symmetrical. And then if you like miss one color, then you've ruined the symmetry, and that stresses me out. Like this one, I don't know if I'll ever color this one. This is the only one in here that I've seen so far that is actually bad enough that I might not do it. Not that it's bad, it's just too much for me, you know? So, like the one that I colored before, this is perfect. This is just perfect for the kind of patterns that I like to color. It just has flowers and leaves, and it was easy to go through and do it all. And with these ones, half the page is being taken up by the quote. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with this one. Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass, but learning to dance in the rain. And so it has lots of like lemons and umbrellas and leaves. So what I love about these ones when they have pictures blended in instead of just shapes is that you can just pick one of the pictures and a shape and just go through and color all of them the same one and not worry about the patterns. You just look for that specific picture, and it makes it easier for me. And yeah, I think I do like colored pencils too, better than markers and crayons and stuff. But we will see. I think the feeling of it is probably one of the things that gets me. One of the things I don't like as much. I'm sorry, I can't show you guys what I'm coloring. I don't have any other cameras set up to go with this. I don't know how technology works, guys. I can't even get my microphone to work. I keep needing to ask my husband to help me set that up, and I just haven't yet. I love that there's lemons in this one. Like, I just love the color yellow. I didn't think yellow would ever be one of my favorite colors, but lately I realized it makes me happy. But I think there's actually only like one. Okay, there's two lemons on this picture. Yeah. So I should have found a pencil sharpener. That's one thing I should have done. I don't even know if I know where any pencil sharpeners are. We'll see if I even need one. If a pencil breaks, I'll probably just move on. And it's a little easier for me to stay in the lines with colored pencils than it is with crayons and markers. The marker just it's like it just bleeds over. Like, you know, I'd misjudge how fat the tip is because it just gets wider going up, and then all of a sudden it's just gone over. And I'm using 2 different shades of yellow, and I don't think you can even tell. In the picture, the lemons are too small. That's okay. Oh, there's a 3rd lemon. Cool. Seriously, the coloring book I used in the watercolor video I did last week, I highly recommend that coloring book. Like, I can't recommend it enough. I love it so much. I haven't pulled it back out since then, because I just got caught up trying out the gel pens in this one. You know, as soon as I get a coloring book, I want to break it in. And I've gotten rid of so many coloring books without ever using them, just because they stress me out too much, which it's ridiculous and sad. Like, what kind of things? Like, my husband's aunt I think it was her that got me a bunch of Harry Potter adult coloring books where it just looks like they took snapshots from the movie and did like basic outlines. And so there's a lot of open space, and it's just normal coloring pages, and I don't think I ever did anything with it. I think I gave it to my friend's kids or something. Because as much as I love Harry Potter, like, it just didn't make me happy. I felt really bad about it not making me happy too, but that's silly. You shouldn't feel bad about something not making you happy. Even if it's something that used to make you happy and it doesn't anymore, that's not a reason to feel bad. Like that just happens. It's just part of life. And just because you have incentive to move on doesn't mean that you're really leaving anything behind. The I really think that once something is a part of you, it's always a part of you. So like I will always have that part of me that loves Harry Potter, that part that grew up reading the books, and that part that tried to do online classes on at hogwartsishere.com back in high school and failed to do so. And part that obsessed and cosplayed and learned all the spells and the wand movements. And that's okay that that's not me anymore. If I'm making any sense. I love these colors. I just love yellows and blues and greens put together. They make me happy. Like pastels, for the most part, pastels. Pastels in general just make me happy. But yellows and blues and greens, especially. Especially if there's lemons or roses involved. Yeah, I probably could have made lemons my go-to thing instead of roses, but I don't know. We'll see. Nothing's official yet. It's not even an official logo yet. It can't really be an official logo because I made it on Canva. Yeah. Oh, man. Heartburn. Yeah, today is just not the best day for my mental health. I think I woke up at like 10 and couldn't manage to fall back asleep. So I started reading, or started trying to catch up to the webtoon Let's Play, and I didn't even finish it. I don't remember what distracted me. I love that webtoon though. And all I've had today is a cup of Nesquik because I had to take my pill. I mean, I'm actually taking my pills on a daily basis, so that's impressive. That's one reason I've never really been, one of the reasons I've never been good at medication for depression is that I just stop taking it. I forget to take it, or I choose not to because I'm so depressed, but I've actually been taking them. The only time I've stopped lately is when I've been super suicidal, at which point I figured it was probably time to stop taking that medication and move on anyway, so I don't feel bad about that. And I feel like I was getting to somewhere. Right. Still in pajamas, still haven't brushed my teeth. I brushed my hair, so there's something for me. And I just barely even cleaned up over here, so I could do over here. My desk area is a mess because well, for one, I haven't really cleaned up my desk area at all lately. But second, we're trying to put up the curtain rods. Hopefully my husband and I will be able to finish that today when he gets home. He's sort of working right now with the family. I really love these colors. I might just keep going just because I love how the colors are turning out on this picture. But anyway, I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about. Ashley, can you let me know if you can hear me okay, if the sound's okay, if I'm loud enough? I do not know how the sound is right now. I really, really need to get a mic that works. I have my husband help me get the one that I have to work, maybe, if that's possible. I don't know, it feels like it doesn't even plug in all the way. I don't know. I'd really love to get, like, actual stuff for filming. I don't know. I really just need to get better cameras and stuff in general. And I really want to, like, start taking art classes. I started making a playlist on YouTube on stuff on how to draw better because I really, really want to, like, officially make a webtoon, a webcomic. I've started one. You can find it on Webtoon, Line Webtoon. I always call it Webtoons. That's not what it's actually called. Not that it really matters. But it's called Badinage. My username on there is Foxy Dove. And it was mostly, some of it was just random, witty, funny stuff. And the rest of it was my husband sleep talking. And I didn't even finish the last one of my husband's sleep talking. Well, thanks, Ashley. Well, at least you can hear me. Um, let's just call it good enough because people can hear me. As long as people can hear me, that's what matters. I wish it was better. I will work on that. I am working on that. I really need more money though to work on this, honestly. I've been putting so much money into this just with the excuse of buying all this craft stuff. Because I've slowly been getting rid of all my craft stuff over the last several years. And now we're doing this, and I can post affiliate links. And if people will actually watch and go through the affiliate links, then I'll make money. And so that's a perfect excuse to keep buying craft stuff. But, I've put way more money, or a ton of money into this, and I don't even know if anyone's bought anything. I just love the excuse to buy new craft stuff, because, yeah. I need to stop, though. I need to stop buying craft stuff until I've caught up on these videos, at the very least. And ideally, I gotta start, marketing the fact that I'm doing this. I could probably run a Facebook ad or something. But I'm a little torn on the whole what's happening with my author platform too. Because originally I was going to just be an author. And then I started doing this other stuff this semester as I realized that I wanted to be a mental health advocate and influencer. And now I just don't know what to put and where. Do I just turn my author page into an everything at once sort of thing? Or do I even just call myself primarily an author yet? Or at this point, sorry, my words are not making sense lately. Yeah, I don't know. That, and I think I'm going to I'm working on coming up with an actual business idea now. I'm taking an entrepreneurship class next semester, or starting next week. And I feel like I'm supposed to come up with an actual business idea and actually work on that and get that going. So that'll be fun, but I don't know what I'm doing yet, and I hope that whatever I do ends up making money. I really need to make money, guys. It's been so bad. Retail therapy is my go-to. I get stressed, and okay, this doesn't happen all that often, but when it does, I think I've spent somewhere in the 4 figures now over the last couple months. It's ridiculous how much money I've spent. And it's all going on credit cards. I mean, we're doing okay, and I know we'll get out of debt eventually, but right now it just doesn't look good for us. This is not the first time this has happened. We've gotten into credit card debt because of it before, and we managed to get out of it just fine, and it's never been an issue. It's not like we've ever had an issue paying for anything. We've never gone over our credit limit. I mean, we do have 3 cards, but we're okay. We're okay. We will be okay. It's just a little bit stressful sometimes. You think that, this even happens to me, is that I start thinking that if we have faith, then we wouldn't stress. But that's not true. I have a lot of faith, more faith than a lot of people I know, at least as much as others. And I still panic and I still worry, and I don't know if it's honestly just because of the mental illness or what, but just so you guys know, that is normal. Just because you panic and worry, even though you believe that there's a God and that He cares about you and everything will work out and that you're doing your best, that's not contradictory. You're not a hypocrite. You're not a bad person for feeling that way. I know I've struggled with that on and off. Over and over, I keep doing this. I keep forgetting that I've come to this conclusion and realize that it's okay. And I keep feeling this way. Kind of ridiculous, but just gotta accept the fact that this is what normal looks like for me. And be okay with that. And not every moment is like that too. It goes back and forth. But there are a lot of times where I do still have faith that everything will be okay, and I don't panic, even though I would if my anxiety and depression were worse. I hope that these videos are like actually helpful and not just me, don't sound like me spouting off stupid crap, because I think that these things I talk about are good, but I have no idea what this actually sounds like to others. I don't know what it is with these colored pencils, but they will not go back in the box. Like, the box is like trying to act like it's full when I know I just took this crayon out of here, or this pencil. Anyway, I'm seriously loving it. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know how good the light is, but like this is turning out so cute, I feel like. Anyway, I really do want to keep coloring this picture, but I don't know how long it's been, and I probably should move on to the gel pens now. Oh, and by the way, while we're here, I put links to my cases in there too, so I should probably show them off. I love this case. It is so freaking cute. Like, look at that. It's like greenish with birds, and it's adorable. Okay, I love birds. I'm not a huge like actual bird watcher, but I love birds. It's got a pocket, and I haven't actually used this one yet, so I'm just gonna try real quick to see how it works. So I think you're supposed to be able to put two. Yeah, so you can put 2 markers or whatever in each one. And so it holds like 250 total. Whoops. I'll pick that up later. Crayons or markers or whatever, pens. So there's that one. I actually ordered that one because I love it so much. I was like, this one's too expensive. When I bought it, it was close to $25. I'm not supposed to talk about price because it can change and I am an affiliate. But I got this one and it was more than half the price, or less than half the price when I got it. And it holds, I don't know how many, but it's so crammed I can barely zip it shut, and it's not even full. But I mean, it works, and I have like 50-ish gel pens, and I keep a lot of them in here. Yeah, so gel pens so far have been my top favorite thing to color with, especially the glittery ones. I don't particularly love glitter necessarily, but the glitter ones draw a lot more smoothly. Like they go on smoother. I feel like I'm like scratching into the paper half the time with the other ones. I'm gonna do this one, be a pineapple, stand tall, wear a crown, and be sweet on the inside. And gotta find my glitter gel pens, because those are the best. Like seriously, these are my favorite. And again, links are down below. I'm gonna get 2 colors actually. I'm gonna do yellow and brown alternatively for the pineapple. It's just so satisfying. These are the only ones that I actually feel like bothering trying to go within the lines. And I feel like I'm going slow with these ones. Like I feel like I can, I feel like I want to, but I'm still not necessarily even going that slow. These are seriously my favorite ones to do this with, or to color with. This is so relaxing. Like, I already feel happier just coloring with gel pens. And I didn't even own, like, okay, I did own gel pens. The same aunt, she's the one that gave me a case full. Like a little zipper case. It's like gray and has a little smiley face on it. But I don't know where it is. I can't find it, so I bought more. And I hope that I find hers, the ones that she gave me. I never really used those ones, like once or twice, but they were with the coloring books that other people kept giving. Like other people kept giving me coloring books for a couple of years there. I think that was right when adult coloring books became popular, at least as far as I'm aware. And I'm not saying those people are bad at gift giving, because this is such a particular thing, and it really is a mood thing for me. I've just never happened to get in the mood for those ones that they gave me while I had them. I'm still not in the mood to get to use the ones that people gave me. I'm sure I'll get there, but it's just, I don't know what it is. Like, I have nothing against those coloring books. But anyway, alright. Ashley says, do you have any advice for someone who might want to start coloring but is worried to start and worried to purchase the stuff? I mean, that really has, I mean, I feel like that really depends on where the specific worry is at. You can print off coloring pages online if you're worried about the what kind of page will be best for you. I mean, heck, you might be able to go to friends or families and try out the markers and stuff there. You can always use the excuse, like if you know somebody with kids, like, hey, can I come color with your kid? And um, then do that there um, if you're feeling up to it. Ashley, if you have a more specific question, feel free to ask because I'm just not sure exactly how to answer that. I mean, it really just takes experimentation. And for me, like, I don't feel bad about going into debt for stuff that I know will make my depression better. But for me, I also have very strong faith in the fact that I will be able to get out of debt again. So for me, that's different. I know a lot of people are paycheck to paycheck and stay away from credit cards and um, like really don't have the money. And I mean, you can always ask for stuff for Christmas and birthdays, and I don't know, like it's really particular for every situation, and you gotta do with what you feel okay with doing. And I don't know. Heck, if you know me and there's something you're struggling with, you can always reach out to me. And coloring isn't necessarily everyone's thing either. Like, I really could not color for the last several months. My anxiety was so high, I couldn't sit down and do it. Um, my anxiety was so bad that I would sit down on the couch and I would have music playing and the TV on and my laptop open with my game on, and I'd have my phone in my hand with Facebook open, and I'd only scroll through Facebook for a little bit, and then I'd close it, and then I'd open it right back up because I'm like, no, I have to keep my mind open. That's how bad it was. Um, and there have been other times where I still struggled with coloring, and it wasn't quite that bad. But that's just my example. It just really depends. Like before that, the last hobby that I was really into, which I will do a video on one of these days, was crocheting, and that one I will do with. Don't. Sorry, Ashley, I didn't. I was not saying that it was a bad question. Just to clarify, that is a good question, and um, it's not that it needs rephrase. It's just that if there's more specific things, because I don't know, I'm better at answering specific questions than vague questions. I feel like just because as soon as I hear something that's like the slightest bit vague, I start imagining all the possibilities and I overwhelm myself with the possibilities it can be taken. Hey, we have another viewer. Hello. Cool, this is the most viewers I've ever had at once on YouTube. Woohoo. Achievement unlocked. Seriously, I just love. And another thing I love about gel pens, sorry, I'm so distractible. Another thing I love about gel pens is that it is uniform. I mean, it's not always necessarily, and if it's not, you can't really tell because it's so shiny that when you've stepped back to look at it, like it looks like it's all colored in. So like gel pens for me are the absolute perfect medium, and that's not necessarily going to be the case for you. So that's just saying, just so you know, just because I love gel pens doesn't mean that you need to or that you should feel bad about not. But like, look at that. Like, I don't know if you can tell how shiny that is, but it's really shiny and I like it. And I feel like the brown is a little too dark, honestly, but it'll be fine. I'll just keep adding more colors and keep coloring it in, and it'll work out. That's the thing I found with gel pens, especially just because gel pens are what I've been using a lot of, is that if you just keep going and just keep an eye open for what colors to add, then eventually you can tie everything in. I don't seem to have any other lighter browns. I wanted to do another light brown for the other pineapples, but maybe I'll just do a different yellow if I have a different yellow. I can't seem to find a different yellow. Okay, we'll use this one. I think that's yellow and not gold. I hope it's not gold. We'll see. I'm actually not a huge fan of pineapples. They're like the dirty yellow. I hate the dirty yellow. I like the pastel yellow, not the dirty yellow. And I'm just going to color all these other pineapples just the same color all throughout. But I'm still coloring it little, like they each have like a little piece of like bark type stuff. And I'm still doing it individually because with gel pens, you can often see them when they go over the black lines. Like if nothing else, it mutes the lines. Some of them will actually like go right over the black lines and you can't even tell there was a line there anymore. Like I found that with the silver, the non-sparkly silver. And actually several of the non-sparkly colors. I don't do a lot with the non-sparkly colors, so maybe it's just all of them. But they can go right over the black lines and make them disappear. So, there's that. And thanks for asking a question, Ashley. I love that you're asking me things. I would love the opportunity to respond to more. Seriously. Because for now, I'm just rambling. Because whatever comes to mind. And I really hope this is helpful. I didn't like script this or anything. There's probably things I could have done better. And I've been meaning to turn these into blog series too and link them together. But we'll see. That's a lot of writing. And I don't want to write right now. I've been thinking about doing a video on how to write when you're depressed too. But the problem is I don't write when I'm depressed. But then again, I guess I kind of actually do because sometimes I journal when I'm depressed. And I could do a video on that because journaling when I'm depressed is different than when I'm not depressed. Like it really is. So there's that. I could do that. This is just all fruit. I didn't realize what was going on this page, but the background is pretty much all different fruits. So that's fun. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen my Redbubble store, but I do have a super cute pineapple pattern on there. Super cute. I love it. As much as I'm not a fan of pineapple patterns. I have lots of cool and fun and weird stuff. But sorry if I keep talking like too quiet to hear. I legit went to speech therapy when I was 12 because I mumbled too much and said the words like and clearly I did not go long enough. I need to go back to speech therapy because I still suck at this. I really need to concentrate as I talk to stop doing that, I think. But let's see. If you do some kind of scripting, I would recommend doing talking points instead of like a thorough breakdown of the talking to keep on a specific subject. Yes. I made a bullet point once for one of my videos for my classes and that helped. And then I forgot about it. And then one of my classmates suggested it and then I forgot about it again. And yeah, that's really what I thank you, Ashley. I keep forgetting about that option. Because yeah, scripting does not work for me. I have to, because that either I'm reading it, if I'm going to script it, I have to read the script, and like that doesn't work, clearly. Yeah, because then it's obvious that I'm reading a script, and it doesn't sound super nice, and anyway, I could just like sit here coloring this gel pen book forever and ever because this is just so satisfying to me. I enjoy it so much. Like the other ones, I just got impatient with. The color pencil ones, I could have kept going with, but they just didn't make me happy. They didn't calm me down as much as this one. Like I still felt a little tense. Feeling tense is something I've been catching on. Oh, my throat feels so swollen. That's something I've been catching on to lately, is how tense I feel. On Sunday, my mother-in-law watched our kids while we had a day to ourselves. So we drove to lunch, and then we were driving to Walmart to go pick up curtains and curtain rods. And I guess this was Sunday. Today's Tuesday, isn't it? Um, like we usually don't go shopping on Sunday, but I felt really good about this, and it was a good day, and I just really wanted to go out, and that was the best thing for my mental health. So we did it. And as we were talking in the car, I realized that like I was on edge, like that I was really anxious and tensed up, and that a lot of it was due to like physical reactions. Like I was physically making myself feel that way without realizing it. And um, for those that know me or unfollow me on my personal Facebook, you might, I don't know how much I've talked about this. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it. But like I get so irritable around my husband. I have panic attacks around him like constantly. And as I sat there in the car realizing how tense I was, I realized that this this is actually something I can control. If I'm the one making myself feel so tense, then I need to ground myself in the moments that I'm with him. Because I've tried grounding techniques before when I'm anxious and depressed, and they've never really helped. But I've never tried around my husband because I that's not what I think I need to for some reason. Um, but this is totally something I can work on, and hopefully this will get better because I seriously constant panic attacks around him. It's so bad, and like because of it, I'm just so irritable, and I can be so mean to him when this happens. And either I'm mean to him or I'm just like really I get more depressed and I'm more down on myself. And I've been trying for years to figure out why I'm like this and what's going on, and I didn't realize that I was tensing myself up and reacting with anxiety to what was going on. And that that brings up a whole other question of like why am I doing this around my husband? I realized that part of it is that I'm covering up how I really feel. What happened when I realized this was that I made my husband laugh, which is something I do a lot. Even though I'm a jerk, I'm also funny. Anyway, um, I guess it's a good thing that I do something for my husband because he's put up with me all this time, and I don't know how. Because really, I've been miserable. And what was I saying? I already forgot what I was saying. Sorry, I'm just so tired. I was saying that. Jeez, I lost it. I really lost it. Give me just 1 second. Right. I stopped myself from laughing at him, and that's when I realized it. That's when it hit me. Like, why am I stopping myself? Why aren't I relaxing and letting myself be myself? I thought that my husband was the one person that I would let myself be myself around. So why am I not letting myself be myself around him? So that's the issue, is that I'm actually not. Like I still am, like I'm still myself around him at least as much as I am around anyone else, if not more. Um, but I stop myself from feeling the more pleasant emotions, the happy emotions. I stop myself from being happy around my husband. And somehow I never realized that before, probably because I don't ground myself around him. So that's something I definitely need to dive more into. If I can remember, I should really write that down so I can talk to my therapist about it tomorrow. Um, this is definitely something that could be worked on that could totally change my life because I've been trying for so long to figure out what it is that's still affecting me, that's still making me depressed. Because I really think, even if on some level it is chemical or genetic or stuff that I can't control, I know that there is a lot of stuff going on that I can control in regards to my depression. And Ashley says, you mentioned that you try to ground yourself. What kind of things do you do that helps you when you get really anxious? Um, the and that's the thing, is that it's different when I'm around people than when I'm not. Because I didn't think that I feel anxiety around people, and I think usually around most people I don't, but apparently around my husband I do. Because when I'm on my own, when I'm like home alone with the kids, I'm already like super grounded most of the time. Like I'm just aware of what I can hear and see and smell. I mean, part of it is like you have to with kids around. With my husband, though, I didn't realize that I was lost in my anxiety. So that's when it did help. I've heard like look for 5 things you can see and 4 things you can hear, and something like that. Um, you could probably Google that honestly and find more. I don't really know a lot about that, but basically, just with him, the moment that I realized that, I just kind of tried to stop thinking and just like feel where I was, be like really listen to everything. Because it was like I was fast forwarding my own experience with my anxieties, what it felt like. So I just tried to kind of slow time down by sort of meditating. And that's what I did there. Um, as I work on this and find more techniques that work for me, I will totally let you guys know what they are. But this was new for me. This is a totally weird situation. I don't know how I've never noticed that my anxiety is so bad around my husband. I mean, I knew that my anxiety was high because I have constant panic attacks, but I didn't realize this was what was going on. And if anybody wants me to talk about anything specific, feel free to say so, because at this point we have gone through all of the coloring supplies, and I'm just coloring and rambling at this point. So I could end it at any time if I wanted to. Or I could just keep talking and rambling forever, or answering questions if anybody has questions. Um, this is what I'm at right now for my picture. So, um, one thing that my husband and I are going to start doing once we find time and have worked on enough of our relationship is we have a book idea we want to do. You guys let me know what you think about this, because I am super excited for this. I started reading this. Sorry, I'm saying a lot. I started reading a supernatural, or not super, a paranormal romance book. I don't know where the romance is yet. I haven't gotten that far. I actually haven't read it in a couple weeks. But it's about these women in like their 40s and just normal life, and then it starts to introduce paranormal elements. Like they're in a car crash, and suddenly they start to realize that they all have like psychic abilities now, and it starts to introduce like ghosts and stuff, and it's just like their lives feel so normal and so real and so realistic, and I want to write a book like that, but about like my age group, like newlywed, like maybe like pregnant or have a kid already, struggling through school and careers when they're still stuck mostly working like entry level jobs. So the idea here is that I would do all the writing, but I would bounce ideas back and forth and pretty much let my husband write the male character, the husband, although I'd be doing the actual writing while I write the wife. And right now the idea is that it would possibly start with like her finding out she's pregnant and him like trying to get into like a master's program, and um, there'd have to be some kind of inciting incident, so like maybe getting evicted from their apartment or something. I don't know. Um, Sorry, I say so much. And then we introduce the fantasy aspect, because I would just do fantasy, probably not paranormal, because I'm just not a huge paranormal fan usually. I like fantasy a lot better. And while all this would be going on, the book would mostly actually focus on the relationship between the husband and wife, and just figuring out how to make life work when you're newly married and nothing makes sense and you don't feel like you fit in anywhere, and you've not having friends since graduating high school and all that kind of stuff. A lot of stuff that my husband and I have dealt with, except for the husband probably will not be autistic because my husband's autistic. So We'll see if you can help me write a non-autistic character. It'll probably be fine. We'll see. I don't know. Whenever we play D&D, he like makes his characters like autistic in different ways. It's kind of funny. But anyway, I'm super excited to write this book. And I think my husband's looking forward to it just because it's something to do with me. Because his idea of quality time is usually watching TV, but then also playing board games and playing D&D, and those are just things I struggle with when I'm depressed. I don't really want to. They require a lot more energy for me. What kind of fantasy? That's a good question. We're trying to figure that out. I think my husband mentioned leprechauns as an idea, but just like basic, generic fantasy, I think. We will see. We'll figure it out. We haven't really got much farther than that. That's pretty much all the ideas that we have so far. And I don't even know what all these foods are in here. But thanks, Ashley. This is what I have so far. I don't know what else I'm going to be doing here with this picture. I think I'll use purple and just color in the text for now. Like a royal purple. Yeah, I really wish that there were more books like that. I think it's a genre and age group that we really need stuff for, because me and all my friends basically are in that stage of life, and I think a lot of us feel kind of lost and alone and confused and worried, anxious. I feel like that's just normal for our age group. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ashley. But like that just seems like pretty much everyone I know in this stage of life. And maybe that's like normal for this stage of life. Maybe our generation's just extra scarred the way that we were raised and the way that the world is right now. I don't know. But I think that we need books like that for people like this, especially because a lot of girls our age do love to read. I don't know so much about the boys. But yeah, I think that needs to happen. I think it needs to be a movement, creating books like that. And I am looking forward to it very much. I'm also still trying to write book 4. I've still only written the first chapter. I think once we get these curtains up and separate my writing area from the rest of the house, that'll really help. And maybe I'll actually start writing that. And this is my week off from school between this week and next week. I start school again next week, and I'm currently signed up for 9 classes, I think. So we will see what happens. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm hoping to finish it soon. Anyway, I'll just give it a couple minutes, and if I don't come up with something else I really want to talk about, and if nobody else has anything else they'd like me to talk about, then I'll probably end it for now, because I am running out of things to talk about, and really, I mean, I'm just coloring at this point. Like, this is so relaxing to me. Ashley says she agrees about our generation. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I really want to know, like, if this is normal. You know, did other generations before us experience this too? Or is our generation just extra on edge? People say that everything like depression, anxiety, and autism isn't more common now, it's just more diagnosed. Oh, that's true. I, I don't even know if it's that our school was more harsh. I think that generally speaking, the more gifted students are the ones who are more especially scarred on like a deeper, more traumatic level. You know, like all of us have issues. That's why we went to that school. Like that's why we all got along so well. Especially our grade. I feel like our grade was just extra unique in that everybody, like even though there were like groups, nobody was really cliquey, and everybody just got along. That's what it felt like to me in high school. Ashley and I went to high school together. For those of you who can't tell, yeah. At least I'm hoping this is relevant. That there will be other people watching at some point. Because I really think that what I'm doing has the potential to help people, but that's mostly if I'm doing it correctly. But yeah, I know that a lot of us like had anxiety or depression or something. I heard at one point that we had like 5 people in our school with Asperger's. Of course, I think that at the time that I heard that, they were counting me as one of them because my mom had just had me diagnosed and told the school, and I do not have Asperger's. So, misdiagnosis of depression. Just funny because as a kid, I was diagnosed with obstructive defensive disorder, and since then, they have added depression in children to the DSM-5, and the symptoms are really similar. And I'm 100% certain that that diagnosis of ODD was also a misdiagnosis of depression because I lashed out a lot and was violent and um, but I was also like depressed. Like I fantasized long before I ever became suicidal. I fantasized about running away, but I was too terrified to. I know I'd end up on the streets and just starve because I wouldn't know what to do. But like I would write stories about it. I would start making up stories in my head where I'd get like kidnapped and saved by the heroes of my favorite stories, and then I'd join them, and they'd be my new family, like that kind of stuff. Yeah. Uh, oh man, I wanted it so bad to just leave my life behind. Not that I don't love my family, but we did have issues back then. Everyone's doing, for the most part, we're all doing a lot better now. And I do love them, and I forgive them for what they did, and I sure hope they've forgiven me. I'm pretty sure I've apologized. I don't know if I've apologized for everything, but yeah, just to be clear, I do not blame them. I know that there used to be some sensitivity around there, and people thought that I was blaming them, but I do not blame them. Even if it was their fault, and we both know that, I don't blame them. Not that it is in every case. I am just rambling way too much, you guys. Way too much. I'm thinking this is turning out nice, though. This is where we're at so far. Yeah. So if anybody has anything, I'm just gonna say it again. Just go a couple more minutes. Unless I want to talk about something else that I can think of. Oh, I keep seeing movement, and then it's just myself in the video because I have it open to the YouTube, but the video on YouTube is lagging behind by like a minute or two where I'm at right now. Maybe I shouldn't have done the whole thing purple. I should have colored some of the text differently. At this point, I feel like it'd be a weird place to change it because I've done Be a Pineapple and I'm working on the Stand Tall. I guess I could change it up. I could do Wear a Crown in blue. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I really, really love coloring with gel pens, guys. Like, it's mesmerizing to me. Like, I'm so calm right now. And I feel so much happier than I did before I was coloring gel pens. Like, that's what finding the right kind of picture and medium can do for you. And so, yeah, I wouldn't have done gel pens if I hadn't specifically thought about it and ordered it for this activity. I wouldn't have done it, and that's just sad. Like, I wouldn't have even considered it. I mean, what really helps is that for some reason I came across an inspirational swear words one that I thought was hilarious and awesome, so I sent it to my sister for her birthday and sent her gel pens too. I think that's what got me thinking about gel pens. That was just a couple weeks ago. Like a week, or maybe not even a week before I ordered these. Yeah. And I hope this is helpful to people, guys. I don't know. And I'm just gonna Pardon me real quick, I'm just gonna check my messages. My husband found my elderberry jam. No way! I bought it in an Amish town in Missouri and brought it to my in-laws' house. And when we got here during our move, and my husband just found it there. It looks like it has been used. I'm pretty sure I haven't even tried it. Yeah. Yay! And I've been eating gluten lately, which means I can even have bread with it on it. That makes me happy. Yeah, so I have celiac, and I've just been flat out eating everything gluten lately. Do you guys have any idea how good a sandwich is with like plain cheap white bread and just mayo and just turkey? Has to be the smoked turkey lunch meat. So good. You guys don't know what you're missing out on by not savoring it for all it is worth. Yeah, and I don't think the gluten's really been making me sick. It might have been giving me some slight issues, which we don't need to go there. But worth it. It's so worth it. Brownies still make me sick whether they're gluten free or not, unfortunately. I don't know what it is about them, but yeah, that makes me sad. Anyway, the I don't know what it is. But I think it's with the depression. It just makes it so hard for me to eat gluten free. Even though I know that it could be giving me cancer or other autoimmune diseases or anything. It could be causing all kinds of problems, and I just don't know what they are because I don't react immediately. And so, in a way, sometimes eating gluten has been a form of like suicide for me. Like, yeah, I'm gonna die later because of this. Um, but right now, I've just stopped just because, well, for one, my gluten-free pasta has gone out of stock since the pandemic started, and it hasn't come back in stock. So I can't even find half the gluten-free food that I eat anyway. And it's more expensive. And as long as I'm going to be eating gluten in the first place, I just feel like it kind of defeats the point of buying more expensive specific gluten-free products. So I'm eating gluten, and so far I'm not regretting it because I get to eat so much good stuff, so much good stuff. Ooh. Yeah, so it's been probably at least an hour, and I'm probably just gonna keep coloring, but I'll probably end this now, guys. Thank you so much, Ashley, for watching, and whoever else is there. Hello, I don't know who that is. I have fun with this, and I might do diamond painting next week, but I will also be doing crocheting and a couple other things. And it really just depends on my mental health. But next week I'll get to show off my new area because we'll have the curtains up with the fairy lights. I'm excited. And maybe one of these days I'll do a tour of my apartment because it looks really nice now that I've rearranged it and added curtains. But yeah, I think that's about it. So I will go now, and I will see you guys later. Thanks so much for joining in, and I hope that I was able to help a little bit. And see you next time.